Welcome back to another video. It's a massive defeat for City. A 3-1 defeat to Carlisle, mean a 3-2 defeat on aggregate, similar to the Middlesbrough game. We won the first leg and lost the second leg, and meaning we lost 3-2 on aggregate. And probably not as disappointing from what I gather from all the sections of the fan base regarding that team that lost to Middlesbrough, but it's a devastating day because it's realisation that's hit. But we aren't going up this season, and ultimately we were never good enough to go up this season. We thought we could get lucky and scrape it through the playoffs, but really it is a realisation that the playoffs is a second chance for the teams that don't go up through the top three, and we never deserved to go up through the top three because we weren't in it long enough. When you look at Carlisle, whilst I actually thought they might have been the weakest team because of suspensions and injuries and form coming into the playoffs, and when I look at the squads of other teams, they are superior to Carlisle's, from my opinion, before the playoffs started. But they showed a much better, they were just much better than us. They created more, they knew their game plan a lot more. I didn't know what our game plan was. We've tried to play out from the back throughout the season. It hasn't worked. We've changed to go more direct. That worked, and then we set back and went back into this shape of trying to play out from the back. And the fan base has never got on board with it. Whether that's our faults or not. The fans have 100% stuck with the players and the coaching staff throughout the season, and we've done our job this season. We broke attendance records again, and Mark Hughes, one thing I would say what he's done fantastically well, like in his post-match comments, were that he has connected the fans to the club again, and we will go again next season, and hopefully we'll gain promotion next season. We've shown progress on and off the pitch. We've had a much better season than previous seasons, and we've got into the playoffs, which is progression. But ultimately, it is the same as coming 8th or 14th or wherever you finish, because whilst you've had a better season, you've had the same outcome of not getting out of the league. And we didn't deserve to, like I said, we didn't deserve to win this game. And throughout the season, we've rode our luck with big saves from Harry Lewis, resulting in him getting so much praise from the fans, not only because of his personality, but because of how good of a goalkeeper he is, and making those big saves. He made 2-3 at least fantastic saves in the game, made many more. And Andy Cook's goals, I think he got 28 goals, yet to score against Carlisle, unfortunately. Couldn't break his duck, but I can't remember him having a shot inside the penalty box. If a postman don't get given his post, then he's never going to deliver, is he? And the problem with Andy Cook is throughout the season, he hasn't had anywhere near enough chances that he should have been presented. He's been feeding off scraps all season, and we've been getting away with goals by nicking a Cook goal in the game and managing to keep it tight to the best of our abilities, and that's why we've been good enough to get in the playoffs. We've got to massively improve in the summer. The recruitment in the last summer I thought were good. We made some good, smart signings with some good youngsters like your Jake Youngs, like your Ryan East. Again, criminal how he hasn't been playing much this season. To say his ability, I think he's 23, so he's still got age and time to grow into his role. But when he came off that bench, he was fantastic. Wanted the ball, dictate play. He's good in a tackle, and I just remember one little chance that he created by just putting the bloody ball in the box. We were really poor today, and like I say, we didn't deserve anything from the game. And for me, it's 100% on Mark Hughes. Like I say, we didn't understand the game plan. I didn't know what our game plan was, and Carlisle knew theirs. They stuck to it, and they scored very simple goals. But that's because they got in the right places to score them, and they were doing the right things to score them. They were getting crosses into a box. They were getting players into the box, and when you do that, at the end of the day, you are going to start and get a couple of goals, and that's what they did. Whether they got a bit of luck, poor defending from us. The Callum guy shot from outside the box, that is stoppable. If you get out quicker, if you don't defend with the way we defend from set pieces, from Moxon and Carlisle, I think they've scored the most set pieces, and you've understood why in those last couple of games. But I think they were just a much better side than us. And Simpson as well, the manager, made much better changes throughout the game. I think why it's so much on Mark Hughes is, it's very simple, but when we went and made it 2-2 on aggregate, I believe it was, Derbyshire got the goal, great play from Banks. You feel like we can get momentum, the fans are up off the seats, they're chanting, and then you see the subs board go up and you see Matty Platt coming onto a pitch to replace Scott Banks, and then you realise what we're doing. because we set up with a game plan to sit back, defend and try and see the game out, and we did look so lopsided as well. I can't really complain about the formation of the team because I went with the same one mainly because I won't change it. But looking back on the season, you know, you've got to ask, why didn't we have a great left winger? I mean, why didn't Pereira get more game time as well? You know, we were playing with that 4-3-1-2 or whatever formation you want to call it, 4-3-3, diamond, whatever formation you want to call it. It was lopsided because Banks wanted to play on the right, out and out right winger, fair, fantastic player in that role. Whereas Jamie Walker, he was playing as a left winger, but he was floating in the attacking midfield. He went to the right side, and that just left a load of responsibility to Liam Rideout, who's not a good footballer. But back on that Platt sub, I don't know why we did it. It didn't make any sense at the time. We needed another goal. We had momentum. We go 5 at the back. We did it against Gillingham. It didn't work. We hadn't learned from our lessons in sitting back throughout the season, and it was just a terrible substitution. And not on Matty Platt. I think he's had a fairly decent season. For 3/4 of the season, he's been relatively solid. But you know, when you need to see out a lead, but also go and get another goal, you don't bring off your most pacey attacker, and you don't bring off your most potent attacker as well at the minute as well. And that was just a terrible sub, and that lost us the game, unfortunately. And like I say, Carlisle definitely deserved to win the game. They were the better side, and they have been throughout the season. So well done to them. And Paul Simpson, because I think he said after the game, everyone wrote us off. No one thought we'd have a chance this season, like everyone else come out and said that in the playoffs. But Carlisle generally, most people thought there'd been a relegation battle, and they've been fantastic. So well done to him, because he's done a fantastic job there. But I think we've got to go down a different path. You know, we can't be playing mixed football, because we're in the middle. We don't know whether we're going long ball or short ball. No one really knows what the game plan is. When we play possession football generally, but then we play really deep, drop back football. You know, we don't want to go and press and get in teams' faces when they have the ball. And I think we've got to change that. I think when teams have the ball, we've got to get in the face, we've got to get out, and we've got to press out and press up the pitch quicker, because we're way too deep and we're putting really too much unnecessary pressure on ourselves. And then when we've got the ball, I think we've got to play, you know, high-paced football, attack, play with wings, get more crosses into a box. So into player ratings, Harry Lewis, man of match, and the 4 fantastic saves. I think he's got a bit of criticism for the last goal. Maybe he could have got onto it, but when it flew in, I just instantly thought of Morrison. I think it was 6 years ago today when he scored that goal. Although it wasn't a flick on to him at the back post, and I don't think he was offside, but it was just that similar goal, and I don't think he could have done anything about it. He set himself for it to be going that direction. It went more central, so it was always a tough one for him to get onto. And other than that, he had some really good saves and had a fantastic game, in my opinion, and man of match, because he kept it from being relatively respectable, because, like I say, most of us didn't turn up. Halliday gets a 2, scored an own goal, couldn't have done anything about it. It's last ditch defending, but he didn't seem to mentally recover from that. Going forward, he was okay, he was a 3, but defensively he gets that 2 because they had him down that side. I think Gordon and their striker were floating to that side. Armour had a good game attacking down that left flank for Carlisle, and Halliday really looked to struggle, and I don't know if he mentally maybe lost it, but he won his best game, and unfortunately he's been really consistent. I think he's definitely in everyone's top 5 best players this season, but he had a poor game and really struggled today. Sam Stubbs gets a 2 again. I think he struggled, he made a couple of mistakes. Gordon, I mean, I wasn't really aware of John Kiami Gordon. He's only 20, I think he's on loan from Palace, or he used to be at Palace, and you know, I wasn't too aware of him, but he had a great game. But yeah, I think Stubbs had a poor game, and I'd give him a 2. Critchlow, I'd give him a 3, slightly better than Stubbs, but it was just average. He had a better game down that side. Felt like he dealt with Garner a lot better than Stubbs, but he had an okay game. I can't remember him being at fault for a goal. But mainly with the whole team's performance and how we set up, for me, the way we conceded the goals. The own goal came from the team sat too deep, and Clayton playing as a centre back and not getting out, and Rydal letting their wing back just take him on, and having too much space in the midfield. And then obviously the corner, just allowing someone to have a free shot on the edge of a box and not getting out to him. And then the third one, we're playing a five at the back and someone has a free header in the penalty box. So I think it was more the way we were set up and the changes that were made that cost us, not individual mistakes. Although when I get onto Liam Rydell, who had a 2 and looking not to get a 1, he was terrible because he knows he isn't good enough. He can't go forward because he's got no pace, his crossing's poor, every time he gets the ball he goes back because, like I say, he knows he can't take someone on. And defensively I thought he was really poor because of that pace, and he's got to be someone we've got to get a really good left back in the summer. And I think we've got to build on the team we've got and try and keep a good core of them and keep Hodges and Hughes. And Adam Clayton gets a 2. I thought he would have been key. I thought he would have been a fantastic player going into that game. But he just looked off it in terms of pace. He got done, got found out a couple of times, slowed the play down, and I've been a big fan of him. I think he's been brilliant when he's come in, but he had a really poor game I have to accept, and I'd give him a 2. Obviously, let me know yours in the community tab as well. 1 being the worst, 3 being the average, 5 being the best. And let me know your man of match as well. Gilead, for me, gets a 3. Not his best game, but he will always win for you. But the problem is, he is a pressing player, gets on players, but we don't as a team. So sometimes he does look like an headless chicken just running around for the sake of it. But he's a selfless runner. I get that he don't have goals and assists and contribute a lot, but he carries the ball forward well, and I'd definitely look to want to keep him because he has a really good work rate, and he offers something that some players don't. Smallwood again, I'd give him a 3. I thought it was okay. I think another thing where we went wrong, we were playing with 3 defensive midfielders, and Jamie Walker were floating around. I've already mentioned Banks and Walker not really playing in a proper position and being lopsided, but you're not really going to be creating much when you've got 3 defensive midfielders, are you really? And 2 right backs who don't really want to be bombing on. And then you end up the same for Cook, and especially in the first half, just remembered, Cook was so isolated. We'd throw an aimless long ball to him, he'd probably hold it up or potentially knock it down to someone, in close proximity, and then there's no one near him. Walker gets a 3, he was okay. I felt he got into some good areas, he'll run for you, but he's lacking a bit of quality. But at the same time, I do think we might have overplayed him throughout the season, and next season again it's something we've got to be looking at, getting in an attacking midfielder who can rotate with him. Quickly, Andy Cook gets a 3 yet to score against Carlisle, didn't get given a chance, already touched on that. And Scott Banks gets a 2. I felt obviously got the assist, did well for that, but throughout the game he was incredibly selfish. He cut inside a few times, he had the overlap pass to play to Halliday or an inside ball to Walker who ran in behind the fence, and he'd cut inside, maybe have an aimless shot or lose the ball because he hang on to it too much. So for me, he had a poor game. But let me know your thoughts on the game in the comments down below. Wasn't the result we wanted. No Wembley trip, no promotion. Obviously expected good, big things at the beginning of the season, and unfortunately we failed. I think I did a video, a couple of weeks ago. Got a bit of criticism for saying is it a failure if we don't go up this season. And I put in the thumbnail, should Mark Hughes be sacked? Well, I've seen loads of fans saying he should be after that and he should walk. I don't think he should. We've got to stick with him. We've got to get a bit of stability. We've made small progress, but next season's going to be tougher, and we've got to get out of this league. And we've got to regroup, but we don't want to change too much. We've got to try and keep a good core, and maybe try and play a few of the younger players, rotate a bit more, but have a clear way of playing that also suits the fans as well. So hopefully next season can be better, and hopefully we can continue to make progress. But I definitely wouldn't be getting rid of Mark Hughes at the end of the season. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Like the video if you did, subscribe if you're new. Have a good one.